Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Khairunnisa Wintara. I'm from English Literature Class B, and in this video, I'd like to present about the formalist analysis of the Great Gatsby from F. Gall. Formalism is a method of criticism which examines a literary work or text through its composition, such as form, language, technique, and style. It began in Russia during the beginning of the 20th century by a group of linguists who want to a straightforward analysis to text examination. Rather than incorporating historical, biographical, and cultural context into the analysis of literary work, the formalists believed in examining the work as it is. The goal of these formalists was to examine aesthetic and moral aspects of any literary work, relying on its form rather than its content. A formalist critics examine the form of the work as a whole, from the form of each individual part of the text, such as chapters, characters, the point of view, the theme, the setting, the diction, and all other elements of the text. For this analysis, I chose the story from F. Gall, entitled The Great Gatsby, for the formalist stylistic analysis. Since formalist stylistic analysis only focuses on the form of literary text, I will make the analysis from the characters, the point of view, the setting, and the theme. So the analysis will be based on some critical questions from formalist perspective, and the aim of this question is to approach meaning of the story through several aspects of the form. So the question is, how is the story The Great Gatsby organized? What is the plot? And what is the theme of the story? Who is the narrator of the story? Who are the major and minor characters? What do they represent and how they relate to one another? And where is the setting of the story?
The story begins with Nick Carraway, a young man moved from the Midwest to West Egg, Long Island, seeking his fortune as a bond salesman. He rents a small house in West Egg district of Long Island, a wealthy but unfashionable area populated by new rich people. Shortly after arrival, Nick travels across to the more fashionable area, East Egg, to visit his cousin Daisy Buchanan and her husband Tom. There, Daisy and Tom introduce Nick to Jordan Baker, a beautiful professional golfer. When Nick returns home that evening, he notices his neighbor Gatsby, a mysterious man who lives in gigantic Gothic mansion and throws wildly extravagant parties every Saturday night, standing in the dark. Nick and Jordan start a relationship together. From Jordan, Nick finds out that Gatsby and Daisy, his cousin, were in love 5 years ago and Gatsby would like to see Daisy again. Because of that, Nick arranged for Daisy to come over to his house so that Gatsby can accidentally drop by and meet Daisy. After that, Daisy and Gatsby reunited and start having an affair. In Manhattan, Gatsby reveals that Daisy is in love with him and wants to be living together with him. But after that, Tom in turn tells Daisy that Gatsby is a bootlegger and he is engaged with other criminal activities. Gatsby demands that Daisy should leave Tom entirely and say that Daisy never loved Tom. But Daisy can't bring herself to say this because it isn't true. She once loved Tom. After that, Daisy and Gatsby drive home in his car, and Daisy who drives the car. When they drive by the Wilson gas station, Myrtle runs to the car because she thinks it is Tom driving by. And then Daisy hits her with the car and kills her accidentally. Nick, Jordan, and Tom investigate the accident. Tom tells George Wilson that the car that struck Myrtle belongs to Gatsby, and George decided that Gatsby must also be Myrtle's lover. The next day, Gatsby was killed by George Wilson, and then Wilson killed himself. He committed suicide. From this plot, we can say that The Great Gatsby has progressive plot where the event in the story is arranged chronologically.
The Great Gatsby used many different themes. The themes are the American dream, class, also love and marriage. For the American dream, Jay Gatsby personifies the American dream itself, being a self-made man that pulled himself out of poverty and become rich. His death in the story signifies the end of the American dream. For the theme of class in the story, we can see from the different societies in the story. The societies of East and West Egg are really different. The difference between the new rich people and the older moneyed family. In the story, Gatsby is aware of the existence of class structure in America. Gatsby tries desperately to make fake status, even buying British shirt and claiming that he have attended Oxford to justify his position in society. The theme of love and marriage is found in The Great Gatsby. This book focuses on two loveless marriages. We can see this from the marriage between Tom and Daisy, also the marriage between George and Myrtle Wilson. For both cases, the marriage seems to be unions of convenience and advantage than the actual love. Myrtle explains that she married George because she thought he was a gentleman, and she hoped he would raise her class status. Daisy almost begged out for her marriage with Tom the day before her wedding, and within a year after their marriage, Tom had an affair with another woman, Myrtle. Even Gatsby's passion for Daisy seems more of a desire to possess something that can be reached than actual love. The narrator of the story is Nick Cartwright. He tells the story from his own perspective or first person point of view. The reader receives the whole story from his perspective.
In the story, there are four major characters. They are Jay Gatsby, Nick Carraway, Daisy Buchanan, and Tom Buchanan. Also, there are several minor characters. They are Jordan Baker, Myrtle Wilson, and George Wilson. Jay Gatsby is a mysterious wealthy young man who always throws an extravagant parties in his gothic mansion in West Egg every Saturday. He is Nick's neighbor. Later in the novel, we learn that his real name is James Gadd. He was born in North Dakota to an impoverished farming family. While serving the army in World War, he met Daisy and fell passionately in love with her. He worked bravely for a millionaire and became acquainted with the people and customs from high society. Because of this and his love of Daisy, he devoted his life to acquisition of wealth. Nick Carraway is a young man from Minnesota. He travels to New York in 1922 to learn the bond business. He lives in the West Egg, Long Island, next door to the Gatsby. He also Daisy's cousin, which enables him to observe the relationship between Daisy and Gatsby. He is honest, responsible, and fair-minded. However, he still has some flaws like he does share in the story when he is in the East Egg milieu. For all the characters in the novel, only Nick recognizes about Gatsby's greatness, revealing himself as a young man of unusual sensitivity. Daisy is the woman that Gatsby loves. She also Nick's cousin and Tom's wife. She had promised with Gatsby to wait for him until the end of the war, but she broke her promise after met Tom Buchanan and comparing Tom's wealth to Gatsby. Tom Buchanan is a former Yale football player which comes from an immensely wealthy Midwestern family. He is a brutal and hulking man. He is a hypocrite. Though he condemns his wife for her affair, he has no doubt about carrying on an affair with another woman. Jordan Baker is Daisy's childhood friend. She is a professional golfer who cheated in order to win her first tournament. She is extremely cynical and impulsive, and Nick described her as incurably dishonest. Myrtle Wilson, an arty and voluptuous woman, is desperate to improve her life. She made a loveless marriage with George Wilson. She has been having an affair with Tom Buchanan and is very jealous of Tom's wife, Daisy. In the story, after a fight with her husband, she runs out into the street and is hit by Gatsby's car. George Wilson, a listless and impoverished man whose only passion is his love for his wife Myrtle. He is devastated because Myrtle's affair. After Myrtle's death, Wilson decided to murder J. Gatsby, who he thought Myrtle's affair, and committing suicide himself. The Great Gatsby takes place along a corridor stretching from New York City to the suburbs known as West and East Egg. Both East and West Egg are wealthy communities, but they have difference. The difference is the families in East Egg are inherited wealth and live in the more fashionable life. In contrast, West Egg residents whose wealth is new, like Gatsby, conspicuously mimic European aristocracy to appear established. The East is connected to the moral decay and social cynicism of New York, while the West, including Midwestern and Northern areas such as Minnesota, is connected to more traditional social values and ideas. The setting of time in this novel is summer 1922. In the 1920s, America as a whole, in particular the disintegration of the American dream in an era of unprecedented prosperity.
In conclusion, Formalist Stylistics examines the literary work from the form. Rather than incorporating the historical, biographical, and cultural context into the analysis of literary work, the formalists believe in examining the work as it is. Formalists analyze the form of each individual part of the work, such as the plot, the setting, the theme, the characters, and all other elements of the text. The result of this analysis is The Great Gatsby has the progressive plot. The event in the story is arranged chronologically. There are several themes in the story, such as the American dream, class, also love and marriage. The story has four major characters. They are Jay Gatsby, Nick Carraway, Daisy Buchanan, and Tom Buchanan. Also, several minor characters like Jordan Baker, Myrtle Wilson, and George Wilson. The story takes place along a corridor stretching from New York City to the suburbs known as West X and East X. The setting of time in this novel is summer 1922. That's all about my presentations. I'm sorry if there is mistake. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.